Today we're looking at Alexander the Great. Hello, welcome to the Daily Bellringer World History. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. Also, don't forget to check out dailybellringer.com where you'll find more resources that go with many of the Bellringer videos. Alexander the Great was one of the most famous leaders in world history, known for his brilliant military strategies and campaigns into Asia. Even though he lived more than 2,000 years ago, people today still study his life because of all the amazing things he accomplished. Alexander the Great was born in 356 BC in Pella, Macedonia, which is located just to the north of Greece. His father was Philip II, who in 338 BC brought all of the Greek city-states under his rule. Alexander's mother was Queen Olympias. Some believe that Alexander's true father was one of the Greek gods. From a young age, he was trained to be a leader. Alexander was very smart and curious. When he was a boy, the famed Greek philosopher Aristotle was his teacher. He taught Alexander about science, math, literature, and philosophy. As a teenager, Alexander demonstrated his bravery and leadership. When he was only 16 years old, he helped rule Macedonia while his father was away at war. At 18, he led troops into battle for the first time and helped his father win major victories. In 336 BC, when Alexander was only 20 years old, his father, Philip II, was assassinated while attending a wedding. Some believe Alexander himself or Alexander's mother might have played a role in the conspiracy to kill Philip II, but that hasn't been proven. Upon Philip's death, though, Alexander became the king of Macedonia. Soon after taking the throne, Alexander launched a military campaign into the Balkan Peninsula and re-established control over the city-states and destroyed the city of Thebes. Alexander then turned his attention to finishing what his father had started. King Philip had planned to conquer the Persian Empire, which was one of the largest and most powerful empires at that time. Alexander led a combined force of some 35,000 Greeks and Macedonians and began a 10-year journey that would take him and the army across 3 continents. His first major victory against the Persians and their ruler, King Darius III, came at the Battle of Granicus in 334 BC. From there, he continued to win many battles, including the famous Battle of Issus in 333 BC. Then, in 332 BC, Alexander entered Egypt and was declared pharaoh. The following year, in 331 BC, Alexander won the decisive battle of Gulgamela, in which he completed his conquest of the Persians. Alexander's army was smaller than the Persian army, but he used clever strategies and moved quickly to defeat them. As he traveled, Alexander built new cities and spread Greek culture everywhere he went. One of the most famous cities he built was Alexandria in Egypt. Alexandria became a great center of learning and culture for centuries to come. As Alexander conquered new territories, he ordered his men to marry native women of the regions that they conquered. This further strengthened the cultural bonds and solidified Alexander's rule. Alexander didn't stop after defeating Persia. He kept going east into places like modern-day Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. In 326 BC, he fought a powerful king named Porus in India and his army, including hundreds of war elephants. Even though the battle was tough, Alexander was victorious. After the battle, he treated King Porus with respect and even allowed him to rule his land again. Alexander's empire now stretched from Greece all the way to India, and all before Alexander reached the age of 30. Alexander had ambitions of continuing east and conquering the entire world, but after years of marching and fighting, Alexander's soldiers were tired and they wanted to go home. Alexander agreed and they began the long journey back. Alexander declared himself king of Asia and made his capital in Babylon, which is in modern-day Iraq. In 323 BC, Alexander fell ill with a mystery illness. Some people think it was a fever, others think he may have been poisoned. Nonetheless, Alexander died in Babylon at the age of 32. After his death, Alexander's empire was divided among his generals. They fought over who would rule which parts. Although Alexander's rule did not last long, the changes Alexander made lasted for hundreds of years. Alexander was buried in Egypt, but today the location of his tomb has become a mystery, as no one knows exactly for sure where Alexander's remains are. Even though Alexander died young, he changed the world forever. He created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to India. But Alexander didn't just conquer land, he also spread ideas. He helped mix Greek culture with the cultures of the lands he conquered. This mix of cultures became known as Hellenistic culture, and it led to new ideas in art, science, and learning. So with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.